everyone. It's Catherine. How are you today? So I'm calling today Doubt Your Doubts. I have a poem by that same title, but I was just reading through some of my notes that I took at the Myron Golden Conference, and we had this really great speaker, Dr. Del Toro. I went there with Joanna. She loved this speaker, her favorite speaker. He was very phenomenal. Hey, Nana. So I'm going to share some of the tips that he talked about. He's a peak performance expert. So if you want to have better performance, these are going to be some good tips for you. And performance, I mean like getting things done, doing things on your to-do list. Hey, Derek. Hey, Blake. Hey, is it Marie Mirdini? Mona's here. Oh, she's not out buying groceries today. Nice. Jesse, Marianne, good morning. So you're going to get some good tips today from a peak performance expert. Hey, Jasmine, I'm calling today Doubt Your Doubts. So there's so many times that we hold ourselves back because we kind of doubt if it's going to work out. Is this going to work out for me? Is this really going to help? Is this really going to make a difference in my life, my goals, my career, my to-do list, my New Year's resolutions? YouTube gaming, this is also a Q&A. So sometimes if I'm on a tangent, I don't like look at all the questions coming up, but sometimes I can see them and it's appropriate and we'll talk about them and answer them. So guys, just put your questions and, try to stay on topic, but if it's something really pressing and you really need some advice on it, we can sometimes segue. So yes, ask your questions. Okay, so doubting your doubts, what does that look like? Hey, Max, air hug, like, so it's not being so precious about, so every thought you think, I'm working with, one of my coaching clients is an author, and she's working on a series of devotionals and different things like that. And her subtitle for the thing she's working on right now is something like, don't believe every thought you think. Well, that's kind of the same concept of doubt your doubts, because you have these thoughts, and sometimes they're misleading. Dr. Del Toro was saying that scientific research shows that 85% of your thoughts are negative. So if 85% of your thoughts are negative, then you recognize that, then it's your duty to go in and find, like, how can I make this positive? How can I put this on the right track? How can I get my mind to do what I want it to do? Because we're constantly talking ourselves out of our dreams, constantly believing our fears, constantly believing those negative voices. So when you have doubts come up and say, you can't do it, you're not going to be able to do it, it's not going to work out for you, those are causing you to doubt. I would doubt your doubts. You don't want to put too much emphasis on that. You want to instead replay in your mind why it is going to work out. Why could this work out for me? What would happen? See, here's what we normally do. We have an idea. We want to do this thing. We want to accomplish this thing. And then these doubts rise up, right? Because 85% of the time, we're thinking negative thoughts. We're born into this sinful world. We're born into this human nature that is fallen. It's a fallen nature, if you believe that from the book of Genesis, right? Hey, Karen. So we're from a fallen nature. So we tend to side on the negative side. Mona says, I've heard that. Don't believe every thought you think. It's been a slow process of being proactive about this. Sometimes even with relationships and people, the devil's trying to put out negativity. Yes, really, truly. So you've got the devil's negativity, you've got your negativity, you've got other people around you's negativity, and people are quick. They're quick to spout advice on telling you why it won't work. I forget who wrote this poem. I don't know the whole thing, but I remember a couple stanzas. Somebody said that it couldn't be done. But he, with a chuckle, replied that maybe it couldn't, but he wouldn't be one that would say so until he tried. So he buckled right in with a bit of a grin, took off his hat and went to it. He started to sing as he tackled a thing that couldn't be done just to do it. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one that dangers that wait will assail you. But just buckle right in with a bit of a grin. Take off your hat and go to it. Just start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. So it's really about not listening to the naysayers, to the negative advice, to the people telling you all the reasons it won't. You have to doubt your doubts. You have to doubt other people's doubts, because listen, if God put a dream in your heart, then you are fully more than capable, able to do it. Because God doesn't give you dreams that you're not able to do just to torture you and go, hey, have this great dream. Ooh, I'm just going to keep it so far out of here. You're going to get close, but you're never going to get there. No, the thing that stops us from getting there is our own mind, believing our own thoughts, and believing our own doubts. So we can't do that anymore. Have you heard that poem before, Hannah? Okay, hold on. Okay, let's just keep the door open because I don't want the dog in here.
Let's go.
What's up, Timmy?
Today's sponsor.
Oh, okay. Timmy's got interrupting us with a message. Oh yeah, you're too tall to sit on my lap.
Nugget, stop.
I have to adjust the camera for your new height.
Oh, hey guys. Today's sponsor is this. Sorry, today's sponsor is this.
Do you even know what it is?
Mentos is really good. It's kind of like teeth brushing.
It's not like teeth brushing. This is candy.
I know.
It's putting sugar on your teeth.
My grandma, I meant to. It reminds me of mint toothpaste. Yeah.
Mint toothpaste.
Yeah.
That's candy. That's not like brushing your teeth.
Sorry, I got confused.
So Dad bought these not to eat. He bought these for a science experiment to do a volcano with Eli. Not to eat this trash. Forgive me. Mentos will never sponsor us because I just called it trash.
I'm the Mentos guy and I hate you, Mom.
I ate Mentos when I was your age, before I knew better and started reading labels. It's okay. I may have even had one last night. I don't know.
Mom, what the heck happened? Did someone say I didn't eat something?
I don't know, honey. I have this one hair that's going, wee-hoo!
That's all.
It's kind of annoying me.
Oh,
Okay.
wait. Someone said, what's your dog's name?
Oh, Nugget. Nugget is the dog's name. Okay. All right. Jesse's asking how I built my relationship with God. It's a long process, and I'm still doing it. It's a long process, and it's a daily. It's a daily. Don't let him back in here. A daily practice of prayer and meditation and reading the Word. It's kind of like you build a relationship with anyone. You get to know them. Well, how do we get to know God? Well, we take some time away where we're turning off the TV, we're putting our phone in a different room so we're not tempted to look at it. We're studying His Word. Maybe we've got some devotionals or study Bibles that are helping us understand, because we can know God through what the Bible says. Because the book of John tells us that Jesus actually is the Word of God. It says the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So it dwelt among us. That's like He's here living and breathing through this book. That's why you can read the Bible. I've read it at least 8 times all the way through, and then I read scriptures pretty much every day. I try to read every day. And it's always fresh, it's always new, it's always speaking to you, it's always giving you new information, because it's alive. It says it's a living and breathing thing. So it can shift and mold, and you could read the same verse 10 times, and one time it'll just jump off the page and speak to you. That's what's really cool about it. So we're talking about doubting your doubts. Okay, so doubting your doubts. And here's the thing. Sometimes that new level that we have to go to is going to require not just thinking positive, it's going to require renewing your mind, right? Faith operates in blindness. You've heard about blind faith. Our doubts usually operate in what we see, whereas our faith operates in what we hear. So you hear me say something positive and motivational, that inspires you to go do something. That's why I do the, teaching, why I have the You Are Worthy course and books. What you hear is gonna trigger your faith. What you hear triggers your faith. But doubt is triggered by what you see. You see your circumstances. You see the bills come in. You see that person leave you. You see things around you that cause doubt. But faith is built by hearing. That's why there was a time in my life where I only had Elijah, don't do that. Where I only had the Bible playing in the background 24/7 in my place, renewing my mind, changing what you think. This is where, so I wrote a poem once called Doubt Your Doubts, which is the topic for today. Because we have to renew our mind in order to change our thinking. In order to get rid of the 85% of the negative thinking, we have to reprogram ourselves. And if we're watching news all day and everything is bad report, and we're hearing people gossip at work, and we're hearing just negative stuff about political candidates, it's getting to be that time where both sides are smearing each other, both trying to prove how the other side is so evil. If all we have is this negative input, and then our thoughts are already negative, we have got to do stuff to counteract that. We have to actively counteract the negativity, right? We have to shut it down. Sometimes that's when people go on social media fasts, or they go on news fasts. I've been on a news fast for my whole life. I've never really watched the news. It's just negative, nonstop, 24/7, and instilling fear and doubt in you in things you can't even do anything about. You can pray, sure, but in my experience, if something important is on the news that I need to know about, someone will tell me. For instance, my mom has called me 3 times in the last 24 hours because she's so worried about the storm that's supposed to hit Los Angeles. She's so worried that we're gonna lose everything and float away. So in my experience, whenever something that I need to know comes up that's on the news, because I don't watch the news, someone will tell me. People are so eager to spread the news about calamity. So I've never found that, because I don't watch the news, that I've missed out on anything. Anytime I'm around people, they're just so eager to tell you about this disaster that's about to come. So you don't need to watch the news. It keeps you in this constantly negative place about things you can't do anything about. And then you're crying about the starving people and this and that. And it's like, that's bringing you to this level. So I'm involved in several different ministries and organizations, and they go into these places and they help these people. I give them money to do that. I don't need to watch the news and be constantly in this negative space about things I can't do anything about. So that's just me. I choose that because I need to stay vibrating at a higher level in the faith realm and all of that. So if you want to get to a new level, it's going to require you to doubt your doubts. So this is a poem I wrote called Doubt Your Doubts. Renew your mind. Change what you think. That just may be your missing link. Don't hub on all your faults about. Now is the time to doubt your doubts. That voice that says you can't achieve is really one you shouldn't believe. The one that tells you that you can't does not see straight but at a slant. The one that says you're unworthy lies. Ignore that voice. Continue, try. Reasons they say you'll fail fill up long lists, but hold tight your dreams with a double fist. Do not quit when you hit a snare. It might just mean you're almost there. Staring ahead at rough road or large hill is not the time to slow down or be still. Soon tightly woven secrets will unfold. Continue boldly down the less traveled road. And so as not to hear about supposed calamity on these routes, keep your hands pressed over your ears and doubt your doubts. So, what are we going to do to renew our mind? Well, it starts with reading positive things, listening to positive things, meditating, praying. New levels, Dr. Della Toro says, require new lanyards. What does that mean? When you go to conferences, they give you these lanyards to wear with your name badges. I've been to 4 conferences in the last 2 months. So, new levels require new lanyards. Where are you stuck? Are you going to stay stuck, or are you going to buy a book? Are you going to buy a course? Are you going to attend a workshop, a conference? Are you going to get to that new level by renewing your mind, replenishing it, giving yourself the information you need to get ahead and succeed? Because as Dr. Myron Golden says, the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is something you have yet to discover, something you don't yet know. Thank you, Nana, for the compliment on the poem. I have not put that one in any books yet. I should put it in a book and put it up. It's a Devon Shu says, your videos are great. Do you ever do one-on-one calls where you can answer questions? You know, I used to do a lot of one-on-one coaching, and I'm slowly starting to shift out of that into more of a group coaching setting. So I feel like small groups is more beneficial. I do answer the one-on-one questions in there, but I'm getting away from doing the one-on-one calls right now. Anyway, but if you're interested in maybe being a part of a small group that just have a few people, you can send me a message on Instagram, direct message me about that. And of course it's all private and confidential. I just find people learn better in groups because they can hear what other people are going through, and I may answer one question for someone, but then it answers it for several people who have the same thing. With one-on-one, I'm having to constantly repeat sometimes some of the concepts multiple times over and over to each individual people. It's not as efficient, and I think it doesn't help as much. Now I realize sometimes there's special circumstances and some people want to keep what they're going through private, so it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle for me because yeah, that was a really long way to not really answer a question, wasn't it? Sorry about that. So some people have excuses for not going after their dreams or for continuing to be negative, and they say, well, I didn't come from a good family. Well, our circumstances are our circumstances. We can't really do anything about it, but the cool thing is, if you didn't come from a good family, you can have a good family come from you. Instead of using the family you grew up in as an excuse to do good, hey, is it Radatul? How are you? Instead of using not growing up in a good family as an excuse to not do good, you could... I gotta get this dog out of here. I put him out, but then Eli let him back in. You could have a good family come from you, right? So a good family can come from you even if you did not come from a good family. If you doubt yourself, I would suggest that you build up an alter ego. An alter ego that is powerful, that will do things even on those days you don't feel like it. So what do I mean? So an alter ego, like I have to think of a name for one, but it's well known that the singer Beyonce has an alter ego called Sasha Fierce. And maybe you have days where you just don't feel like it, you're not in the mood to go after your dreams and goals, you're not in the mood to work out or push for what you want, and you just have to, like, your alter ego has to kick in. So when we were listening to Dr. Della Toro, he had an alter ego, and that was like Mufasa, the father of like Simba, like the lion father, you know. And on days he wouldn't want to get up and work on his goals or do the things, he would have this alter ego kick in, like Beyonce had Sasha Fierce. What can you do? What can you create for yourself that is gonna go, you know what? Catherine doesn't want to do it today. Catherine's got all these doubts, but who is a more powerful version of me that I can go, I can step into their skin, almost like an acting role. You step into that alter ego and you go, you maybe, let me get this dog out of here. Hey, hello. You are messing up my live stream, little nuggy. Snoop Nuggy Nug. Nugito, little Nugito, you're messing up my live stream. Oh, yes, you are. Say goodbye, Nugito. Bye-bye. Do not put the dog back in here. I locked my door. Hopefully that'll be a deterrent. Okay, so who can you make up an alter ego that you could be like, see, I should have thought this through and had a bunch of examples for you, but I don't. I don't have a bunch of examples for you. You make up someone in your mind. Is it the Terminator? Is it Princess Powerful that is going to get up and do the things you don't want to do? When you've let the doubts get to you and they have overcome you and you're just wanting to Netflix and chill and just lay on the couch and do nothing but eat popcorn, who is this alter ego that you could have, that you could institute, that you could bring in that will execute the things when you don't feel like executing it? Okay, I think looks like there's been some stuff in the chat that I need to look at. Mona says, I agree, Catherine. Using the excuse, I'm like this because of my unhealthy family, repeatedly is an excuse when we're in control of changing. Yeah. Because so many people, you can find people that have been through the worst circumstances and said, because of this awful family, I decided I was never going to allow that to happen to my kids. And then you can find the same people, same circumstances where someone grew up and they said, well, I can't help I hit my kid because my dad hit me. So they use it as an excuse to continue on the bad behavior instead of stopping the bad behavior. So what can you do? You're in control. Acme says, in my religion, the 4 angels protect people from the devil. Well, you probably have, whatever, I don't know what religion that is, but you have to still have a relationship with God, right? God created the angels. So you still have to press in and have a relationship with God in order to get the protection from the angels, right? In the Christian religion, we also have angels, but we call on God. He sends the angels to protect us. But the devil will mess with you no matter what. And you also have to learn how to resist him and not give in. So sometimes people are quick to say, resist the devil and he will flee from you. That is a scripture in the Bible. However, the first part of that scripture says, submit yourself to God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. So many people think that they can just be whooping it up, having this party life, sinful lifestyle because God gives us grace and he forgives. And it's true that God gives us grace and he forgives, but if you're willfully disobeying him and thinking because, I'll just repent later, but I'm going to just live the sinful life now, that's not really how it works, right? The scripture says, those who love me keep my commandments. So if you're not keeping his commandments, you don't really love him. And he knows that because he sees the intent of the heart. So that's all I gotta say about that. So have an alter ego when you don't feel like doing something. Have that person come out that's like, Catherine wants to sit on the couch, but this person, we tackle things. We get things done. I had to do this yesterday. Actually a lot of this week. I had stuff to get done. I didn't feel like doing it. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't inspired to do it. But I made a commitment. I'm in a group and we have accountability calls every Tuesday. And so I had to be accountable. All right. So who is your superhero or shiro when you can't trust yourself? That's what we're talking about. Borrow, and find someone that you can be like, saying, you know what? This other version of myself, this Superman, this Supergirl, Wonder Woman, that's who I'm going to step into when I'm afraid to go ask that person out, when I'm afraid to ask my boss for a raise. I put on that confidence, right? You guys who have taken my You Are Worthy course know that the first lesson is all about posture, body posture, and how They've done studies that show just standing in a confident posture, like a superhero posture, or the winning victorious posture that you do after you win a race. If you do that for 2 minutes, it will bring up your confidence level for hours throughout the day. So sometimes even just your body posture, spreading out, taking up more space, putting your hands out, Guys take up more space. Have you noticed that? Girls try to be like demure and little and small and not be noticed, right? Because sometimes people from our generation and older were taught you should be seen and not heard. A lot of young people nowadays don't have the confidence issues that those of us in our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s have, because they were not taught. A child is to be seen and not heard, right? So here's another thing you can do. If you have doubts and you don't believe in yourself, another thing you can do is borrow someone else's belief. This is why I found it's important to have mentors, coaches, because they believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. And sometimes their belief in you is enough for you to go, maybe I can do it. Maybe this is okay. Maybe things are going to work out for me. And then you borrow their belief. You know what? Catherine thinks I can do it. She says I should just go for it. And you temporarily borrow someone else's belief in you until you can believe in yourself, right? So if you don't believe in you, tap into God's belief in you, right? He says, with God, nothing is impossible. He says you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Let's see. Brian says, God is my favorite superhero. My son has a t-shirt that I just love. He got from a friend of mine. And it's like a Clark Kent, but it's actually like Jesus. And he's like ripping the business shirt open and it's got like a big J, but it's like in the Superman theme and the Superman colors. Jesus, the original superhero. Mona says, my human superhero is my closest, dearest friend who I admire and adore her confidence so much. She's truly inspiring. Yeah, you can borrow her beliefs. Hey, Jaden. Okay, what else? Here's something I don't do enough. And part of the reason I can sometimes doubt myself is because I forget all of the things I have accomplished. So I'm the type of person that achieves something and then moves on. Achieves something and then moves on. And I don't stop to take the time to celebrate it. When I did my first book, I took my editor out to eat. We had like a little celebration dinner at Islands. And same with my second book. Took my editor out to eat. We celebrated. The next 3 books I did, I never even went to dinner to celebrate. I made my ebook, 10 Things God Wants You to Know About Putting Him First. I made bestseller in 2 categories. I didn't go celebrate. I'd never even been bestseller before on Amazon. I didn't go celebrate. My dad's book, The 100 Air. I helped him become bestseller in 3 categories. I didn't go celebrate. My newest book, You Are Worthy. I became bestseller in Amazon in 7 categories. I didn't go celebrate. I didn't go out to dinner. I just was like, okay, guess it's time to write the next book. Here's the problem with that. When we don't celebrate these achievements that we have in life, we can feel like we haven't done anything. And I was like that for years when I realized I would always say like, oh, I wish I could accomplish something in my life. And other people would be like, are you kidding me? You wish you could accomplish something? Haven't you like written multiple books? You're like series regular on Dharman. You've been in 100 other movies. You've got this. And they would start naming all these things. And I was like, oh, I guess I have done a couple things. But if you don't stop to celebrate your success, and part of that, when I was not a celebrator, had to do with my worthiness issues, right? Hey, Sophia Clay making bracelets. So if you don't, you will, if you are driven like I'm driven, you will accomplish things and you'll never celebrate yourself for them. So that has to stop. It's not selfish to celebrate yourself. When you celebrate your your accomplishments more, it does something in your brain, and it solidifies that positive behavior and those positive rewards, and it helps you go out and do more great things, because your body, your brain sees that, hey, this is a good thing. This is a celebration. Let's keep doing this. When you achieve some goal, you know, if you achieve, like, let's say you wanted to lose 10 pounds. When you do it, like, take yourself out and buy yourself a new cute top, a cool pair of shoes, whatever. Celebrate your accomplishments, even if they're as little as that. Passing, getting an A on your exam. Go take yourself out for a smoothie, or do something, because what that's going to do is that's going to lock that good behavior in your brain, and then your brain is going to associate these good things, these rewards, with these accomplishments. But if you're not celebrating them, it's like writing a book can be drudgery. It can take months. Like Nana can tell you, she's wanted to write a book for like 20 years. She finally did it. I don't know if you celebrated, Nana, your poems of peace, but those kind of things need to be celebrated, because then it locks in our brain these happy things with achievement. If I'm just sitting on my computer grinding every day, trying to get the last thing out, but I never celebrated the one before, which I didn't, then it becomes harder, it becomes drudgery, because there is no hit a goal celebration, right? So that's important for you. Whenever you achieve something, it doesn't matter how small it is. As a matter of fact, it doesn't have to be a big achievement like writing a book or landing a series regular role. It could be small things. The more you celebrate the small things, the more you train your brain and your body to get excited about doing things more, bigger, accomplish more, right? That will help you doubt your doubts. So if I would have celebrated these things, when I come up against a roadblock or something standing in my way, I can remember, oh, I can get through this, because look, I did this, 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 I did all these, and you lock in those positive things. Okay. Acme says that her faith is Islam. Happy to have you on here. Brian, The 100 Airs sounds interesting. It's a really good book. It's a short read. It's like only it's a little over 100 pages, I think. And it's a memoir of generosity from the house painter next door. And so it teaches you, from someone who's just a working man, just a house painter, how even if you don't have a lot of money, you can still be generous, you can still be kind, you can still help people. And it's called The 100 Air instead of The Millionaire. Because if you're not a millionaire, you can still help people, even if you have as little as $100. And so it's a beautiful book with real life stories from my dad's life and what he saw growing up with a lot of impoverished people, and how he got lessons from his dad that would help him. Okay. Natalie says, how is it working at Darman Studios? It's really nice there. They treat me really well, and they're very kind, and they're eager to listen. Brian says, that reminds me of a quote from Back to the Future, played by Michael J. Fox. If you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. Sophia says, I love your new book. Are you talking about You Are Worthy? Thank you. It was a long labor of love, and I think it helps many people. Nana says, so good. My book has been out for a year, and it was 30 years to accomplish it, or more. I never celebrated. You've got to go celebrate your book. You have to tell your hubby to take you out to your favorite restaurant. Drive to LA to go to a vegan restaurant and celebrate. So many good ones here. Okay, Ananda is saying, how is the prep going for your acting course? I've got the intro episode done. I've got episode 1 done. The editor just sent me episode 2. I'm excited. I haven't watched it yet to give him feedback. I'm hoping it's going to be out by the end of the year. We're trying to get 1 episode edited per week, but it's a lot. I have to do some reshoots. So there's the intro, There's 8 episodes on how to be an actor, how to be a working actor, and it's called Acting and Having Fun. And it's taught by my good friend Tony Mirshandani, who is a actor from India. And I don't know what name he went by in India, but he was somewhat well known there years ago before he came to America to become an actor. He's recently just moved back to India. I'm actually going to go visit him before the year is out. So, but I will keep you posted on the acting course, because I know several of you have mentioned to me that you want to be an actor. And so this is going to be a great course on how to become an actor. Acting and having fun. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, like you guys are congratulating Nana. Yes, Poems of Peace is her book, if you guys want to check it out on Amazon. So we got to celebrate ourselves. And you know what? We're going to get attacks, right? We're going to get stuff coming against us. We're going to get the devil trying to stop us. But some of you guys let one attack by him make you throw in the towel. You act like, you know, the devil comes against you, and he puts a temporary condition on you, and you act like it's permanent, like, oh, it's all over, forget it, the devil's picking on me. Listen, that's a good thing when the devil is picking on you. The time to really worry is when the devil leaves you alone, because he's only coming after who he sees are making a difference in the kingdom. He's only coming after God's anointed ones. Think of it like football. This is an analogy that Dr. Del Toro used. He said, where is it in here? When you're being attacked, remember, think of this like a football game. When you're being attacked, the only person they tackle is the one holding the ball. If you're going after your dreams and it's getting hard, people are coming against you, people are lying about you, people are saying things about you that aren't true, they're spreading lies on the internet, they're doing whole hate campaigns against you, the devil's attacking you, he's got your family and friends attacking you because he'll be whispering in their ear. What do you have that is making the devil attack you so much? Think of that. He's not attacking the people that are sitting around doing nothing and aren't making a difference. Angela, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the gift. Thank you for your generosity. You're always so kind. What don't you see? You've got something in you that maybe you don't even see, maybe you don't even recognize. Why are these attacks coming against you? Why are you being attacked so hard? It's because you carry something so precious. Remember that when you're getting attacked, they only tackle the player who's holding the ball. This is a game of life. What are you holding that you are being attacked? Think of it as a compliment. Think of it as a compliment. I think one of these books I wrote about that it's a compliment when Satan picks on me. It means that I'm capable of making history. Yeah, I think it's in this book. So, let me find it because it just reminded me of that. It just reminded me of that. I will prevail. I don't know if this is the one. I don't know if this is the poem I was thinking of. I will prevail. I thought I couldn't make life work, but that was just a lie that Satan sent me from his pit with his perverse reply. All things are possible with God. Nothing can be restrained. His bondage dropped off years ago, and God's inheritance was gained. The signs I've seen have changed my life. He kept me from each plague. God's ever clear with his instructions. Never is he vague. Since he gave me the mind of Christ to awe and fear the Lord, I've supernatural judgment too. The Spirit has outpoured. I've no more thoughts that I will fail, nor any of defeat. I took them to the cross and laid them at my Savior's feet. There's nothing I can do myself when foes have gained on me. Yet all he wants is me to trust. He'll part the big Red Sea. So what is it for you? There's nothing I can do myself when foes have gained on me. Yet all God wants is me to trust. He'll part the big Red Sea. So those Israelites that were running from Pharaoh's army, they were on the run. Pharaoh's army had kept them in slavery, in bondage for 400 years. 400 years the Israelites were oppressed. They finally worked up the courage. They finally put on their alter ego, their superhero with God. They knew, we can do it. They're on the run, but there's nowhere to turn. There's nowhere to go when the foes have gained on them. There's a sea in front of them, which they're just going to drown in. And then behind them is the army that's going to either kill them or force them back into slavery. What do you do? What do you do in those situations? God says, just trust. They didn't know the sea was going to part. That was all faith. That's why I was talking about earlier, you can't go by sight. If you go by sight and you look at the sea in front of you and the army behind you, fear, 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 fear. But if you listen to God saying, I've planned a way of escape for you. You're going to get out of this. You're going to get through whatever's going on in your life. You're going to be able to handle it. I'm going to come through even though you don't see a way, because it's not, that's why you say faith, our faith is not by sight. We walk by faith and not by sight. Letting go of the things that are holding us so tight. We have to let go of what we see and believe in what we hear from His Word. And if God told you to go do this thing, you're going to succeed. If He told you to go this way, you're going to succeed. If you see roadblocks, He's going to make a way. He parted that sea so all the Israelites were able to walk through on dry ground. This reminds me of a story I heard once. So there was this little boy, and he was sitting on a bench, and he was like reading his Bible, and this atheist guy comes up to him and says, you know, those stories in the Bible are just myths. You know, it's actually been proven that Red Sea did not happen, and the sea at that time of year the water was so low, it was only a couple feet of water, so they could have easily walked through it, because he saw this boy was just praising God and thanking Him. And so this atheist thought, I'm gonna set him straight. So I've studied this, and back then at that time there was only 2 feet of water, and so you really shouldn't believe the things you read in that book, because they could have easily walked through it. And then the little boy started praising God even more, even bigger, like, oh my gosh, this God is even more amazing than I had thought. And the guy's like, what? I just told you they could have easily walked through it because there was only like 2 feet of water. So God didn't part the Red Sea. They did it. And the little boy goes, yeah, but it was a huge miracle that He drowned an entire Egyptian army in just 2 feet of water. You guys ever heard that story? That's so funny. That's what I'm talking about. That's how we have to be around our doubters. The people that come into our life that want to tell you all the reasons why your dream won't work, right? There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out to you one by one that dangers that wait will assail you. So buckle right in with a bit of a grin, take off your hat and go to it. Start to sing as you tackle the thing that cannot be done, and you'll do it. That's what we have to do. And you can't have this powerful positivity and belief and faith in God if you're looking at all the outward circumstances around you. Okay. All right. I'm going to make you a bracelet because I love you. Shine it, girl. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Sophia. Thea says, do you think perfectionism is a key to success? Some people are being way too hard on themselves. I think that perfectionism is never going to get you to success. Never, ever, ever going to get you to success. Perfectionism, a lot of times, is fear. Perfectionism is you worrying about that if it's not perfect, other people might judge me, they might not think it's not good enough. Listen, procrastination is the assassination of your destination. You will never get to where God destined you to be if you're procrastinating. It will kill your dreams and it will kill your destiny. You can't get there by trying to be perfect. One of the speakers I've heard many, like 10 years ago, he called it the 80% rule. Mona says perfectionism is crippling. Once your thing is 80% as good as it can be, you put it out there. Because listen, your 80% as good as you can get it thing is going to help people, is going to help more people than you think. Your not perfect thing that you put out that God tells you to do can help a lot of people, right? A lot of you have read some of my books and you think they're good and they're helpful and they helped you see in a different way, and I've got all these great testimonials. Listen, the book is not perfect. Like the third editor I went through 3 different editors because it was not coming out as perfect as I wanted it to be, as good as I wanted it to be. 3 different editors, and she said, well, I mean, there's a lot more that could be done to make this book perfect, but since you just wanted da-da-da-da and you have a deadline, I guess put it up. You know what? It's only like maybe 1 or 2% of the population that would even probably know what this book editor, all the things that would make it more perfect. I don't even know what they are. I don't even know. Maybe it's sentence structure stuff. I don't even know. I don't know what it is that could have made it more perfect. But the point is, your thing can't help people if it's not out. It has to be out in order for it to help people. So what are you holding on to? What do you have inside you that you're afraid to start doing, that you're afraid to go after? What work are you afraid to put out? What creativity? Are you wanting to start a YouTube channel? Are you afraid to make videos? Are you afraid people won't watch them? The thing is, you can't get better until you do it, right? There's a famous quote from Zig Ziglar that says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. How many YouTubers can say, you look back at some of my early videos, they're cringe, right? They're cringy. Every YouTuber can say that. Mona says it's more real and relatable when it's raw and imperfect. And that's why, like a lot of times you see me make a YouTube video, I just woke up in the morning, sometimes I haven't combed my hair, I haven't put any makeup on, because I have a message, I have something I want to share. And then I look at other people's videos and I'm like, oh, look at, they've got the perfect studio lighting, the beautiful background, everything, their outfits up, and I'm like, sometimes just rolling out of bed in my pajamas doing something, right? So, yeah, you just have to do it. You just have to put it out there, okay? All right. Celebrate yourself. We did that. Here's the diff. Sometimes you guys are going to feel lonely. You're going to feel lonely when you're going after your dreams and your goals, because the circle that you're around, the friends, the family, they were just born into your life, right? You didn't choose them. So they're the people you went to school with, they're the people you work with, they're the family you were born into. They don't have the vision you have. They don't have the dreams, they don't have the goals, they don't have the purpose. God has put something special and unique in you that you need to get out into the world. Something that you need to do that only you can do. And the people around you don't get it. They don't understand, because God didn't call them. He called you. When God called you, it wasn't a conference call. He called you by yourself. You can try to explain it to the people around you, they're not going to get it. You have to go for your dreams, and sometimes until you can find the right circle of friends, like I have now with Shantae and Giovanna, because we're all on the same mission, we're all on the same path as actresses, authors, and speakers. Now we have this circle. But look, it took me like 40 years to find a circle of people that want the same things I want, that are on that mission, that aren't just sitting there making excuses. I know a lot of people who've been wanting to write a book for 20, 30, 40 years, and they haven't gotten off their duff to do it. And I used to lead a writer's group for 12 years. It stopped when COVID happened. So many people in that group for decades wanted to write a book, and I every week encouraging them, having them do assignments, getting them closer, and they still had 10 million excuses, and a lot of it had to do with fear of other people's opinions, fear of what others would think of them. Like, who cares? Your book isn't going to be for everyone. Your art isn't going to be for everyone. Your music isn't going to be for everyone. How you fix How you fix up cars isn't going to be for everyone. Your level of creativity, your skills, the things that you're meant to put in the world isn't for everyone. Everyone won't like it. And I saw a quote the other day that really, from James Melanchek's newsletter, and it really helped me see things in a different way. If you're just kind of hiding, pulling back, being shy, trying to be mediocre, not showing your true personality, wanting to be with the status quo, you're going to be ho-hum, you're going to be mediocre. And they were talking about this talk show host. I think she's a conservative, I think Jewish talk show host, Dr. Laura Schlesinger. Have you heard of her? She's pretty famous. Something she was saying in her quote, because she's the kind of personality that actually polarizes people. What does that mean? When you polarize people, that's the kind of personality where you either love them or you hate them, right? We can see there's certain personalities out there where people love you or hate you. And it actually kind of reminds me of a quote in the Bible that says, God says, I would rather you hot or cold. If you are lukewarm, I will spit you out of my mouth. What does that mean? Like, some people are like, yeah, I kind of like them. Yeah, I kind of like God. I kind of like this YouTuber. I kind of like this celebrity. That's lukewarm. Hot or cold is like, I hate this celebrity. I hate what they're about. I can't believe they talk about this. I can't believe they talk about that. I can't believe they do. Or they love them. Oh, they worship them. They're like, oh, they're the best thing. I watch all their movies. I buy all their stuff. God likes people who are hot or cold more than he likes someone who's like wishy-washy, mediocre. I'm not saying to go be stir up trouble, get people to hate you just to get people to hate you. But if you're the type of person where people love you or hate you, that you're polarizing, that means you actually stand for something. If people don't know what you stand for, they're kind of like, yeah, I kind of like her, I'm not really sure about her, maybe. But if they know, like, I am standing up for this issue, this is not right, this is where I stand, it's going to make a lot of people hate you, but it's going to make a lot of people love you. And here's the cool thing that happens with this. When you're not wishy-washy, you've got lovers and you've got haters. When the haters come to attack you, the people who love you will defend you. And you don't even have to defend yourself. You just sit back. You just be you. You just stand for the things that you need to stand for. And when someone doesn't like you and comes against you, you just sit back and watch the people who love you defend you against the haters. It's such a cool thing to see. It's such a cool thing to witness. I kind of saw this happen with the, as Giovanna would call it, the Darman debacle back in February. You know, you have all these haters coming to attack him, and then you have the people who loved him like defending. It was kind of cool, and he just got to be like, I'm just gonna sit back. I'm just gonna keep making good content. I can't please everyone, right? Go where the love is, Mona says. I love that. So when we find out who the people are that love us, we it's not that we're catering to them, it's that we're being who we are, we're being true. Are you being your true, authentic self? Are you being your true, authentic self? If you are, you're gonna get haters, and that's okay. Mona says, we are also meant to meet our group of people when it's time to meet them. Timing is everything. Yeah, you know what? If I was still the person that wasn't doing anything, was crying on my couch and had no self-worth, maybe there's people like Darman or Giovanna or Shantae that wouldn't even like want to be friends with me because I was just taking everything personal and being offended by everything. And NF Extern Bless us. How can one become an actor for Darman? As far as I know, he puts out casting notices on LA Casting and Actors Access. I don't know if he's using one more than the other now, but if you're an actor in LA, you already have those. If you're an actor in LA, you have already signed up for LA Casting and Actors Access and probably Casting Frontier. Be with people who care for you and love you, Anandit says. Yes, so we've talked about doubting your doubts. We have talked about celebrating your accomplishments. We've talked about how the devil's only going to attack you when you are carrying the ball, when you've got something precious. Vias, yes, I think I recently played Aiden's mom in something. We'll see when it comes out. So this can be a lonely journey. Mona was talking about the right people aren't going to come until the right time. So here's the thing. Eagles would rather fly solo than fly so low. Let me say that again. Eagles would rather fly solo by themselves than fly so low, right? So, did I guys tell you that story about the eagle? Eagles are meant to fly. They fly so high in the air. I don't know if they're the birds that fly the highest, but they can actually, if there's a storm, other birds have to like land. They can't weather the storm. They can't fly during it. Eagles are actually able to fly above the storm. They're able to go to such high altitudes that they can fly above the storm. And here's a cool thing about eagles. Eagles do not hang around with turkeys. Turkeys who are on the ground pecking away. These turkeys can't fly. They're trying to make you feel bad about yourself. They're not about that. Eagles are flying so high above. They're flying above the storms. And here's a cool story I heard recently. That sometimes crows, you know, black crows, those birds, big birds, the crows, they attack eagles. Sometimes they attack eagles. And what happens when an eagle is flying, a crow will get on its back and it will start pecking away at him and pecking away at him. What an eagle does, an eagle doesn't try to fight back. An eagle doesn't try to fight the crow. He doesn't try to like fight him back. What the eagle does is he just flies so high and he keeps flying above the storm. He keeps flying to such high altitudes that a crow can't handle the high altitudes. And when the crow can't handle the high altitudes, because there's less oxygen at the high altitudes, the crows just drop off because they can't breathe. And that is a lesson for you and I. We're talking about doubting your doubts today. If you've got people tackling you, that means you have the ball. If you've got crows pecking at you, that means they want to try to take you down because they see you're something better and bigger than them. All we have to do is fly above the highest altitude, to do our best to fly as high as we can. We don't even have to fight off the crows. When we get to our highest altitude, they just drop off, and you'll see the people in your life that are trying to take you down. You just keep going. You just ignore them and you just keep going to the highest altitude you can go. They will drop off. They can't handle. They can't even breathe at that height. And that is a lesson for all of us. We keep soaring. We keep flying. We go above the storms. We go above the highest altitudes, and those turkeys can't reach it, and those crows will just drop off due to lack of oxygen. So I encourage you, find your alter ego this week. Find that persona in you that's going to help you execute when the little doubter in you is trying to get you not to. And remember, when you're being attacked, it's because you're carrying something valuable, something precious. I want you guys to soar above the trouble, soar above the storms. Don't hang around with the turkeys in your life just because you were born there, went to school there, work there. Soar to the highest heights, and when the crows attack, they can't stay. They can't stay at those altitudes. This week, you guys, you make sure you live true, love hard, and shine bright.